Of La Penta, it's WICR.
Hello, Iona College. Welcome back to the Sports Vault. Jersey Joe and Big Shot Rob here, and we are breaking news on the Sports Vault. The Atlanta Braves has fired their GM, Frank Wren, and Rob, you're a huge baseball guy, so I want you to start this off. Are you surprised that they fired their GM?
Not surprised at all, Joe. This Braves team should be a lot better than what they are. Biggest mistake that he did as GM was signing B.J. Upton to such a huge contract. The guy is batting .207 in 137 games with 11 home runs and 34 RBIs. Disgraceful. Embarrassing numbers with a guy who's making so much money. Embarrassing numbers. And you know what? This firing had to happen. The Braves, they should be a team that wins this division. I know, yes, the Nationals are a tough team in that division. The Braves should at least have given a lot of competition this year. Should be a team that won at least 90 games. You see how they let go of Tim Hudson last year. I would have brought him back. He's such a great pitcher. And this firing comes at the right time, the way the organization has been going over the last couple weeks.
I agree. I mean, the Upton move, as soon as they made that move, that was a horrible, horrible sign. If you looked at his numbers his last season in Tampa Bay, you saw his numbers were steadily declining. To give him the contract you did based on his declining numbers is just mind-boggling. I don't know. I can't explain it. I mean, you look at the Braves at the beginning of the season, they were locking up a lot of their guys, giving them extensions, and this isn't a team that's lacking of talent. I mean, Justin Upton had a tremendous year. They've got pitching. I mean, I watched the Braves a couple times. I remember they had an 8-game skid somewhere in August. So the Braves had some really tough stretches during the season. I don't know. It's not a surprise to me. It really isn't. But building off of that, we broke that down. I wanted to get into a little bit of soccer first. Some of the big games of the weekend. You hear me keep on talking about it. I mean, last year at this point, I really could have cared less, wouldn't have been talking about soccer at all, but I mean, it just changed everything. I'm loving every minute of it. And the big thing is the English Premier League this weekend. The big game yesterday, you had Manchester City and you had Chelsea. Now, Chelsea still, the game was 1-1, it ended up in a draw, but Chelsea looks like the clear-cut #1 team in the English Premier League. Even with a tie yesterday, they just look, I just haven't watched any other team who I think could give them a complete game where they just can match them goal for goal. I mean, the one thing I will say about Man City yesterday is Vincent Kompany did a great job against Diego Costa. I mean, Costa could not be stopped in the first 4 games. He really was just unbelievable, scoring from everywhere on the pitch, and Kompany did a really good job defending him. The one thing I am worried about Man City is they're getting more, they're out shooting the other team. I believe City had 16 shots on goal, and Chelsea only had 6. So that's a little alarming. And even in these games, Man City's getting the opportunities. I mean, they really have a lot of chances. They're shooting the ball well, but they're really not getting the wins that they need to. So Man City, a little bit worried, but I think Chelsea right now, they're still the clear-cut best team in the Premier League from my eyes. Still have a lot to watch and learn, but as of right now, that's the main thing I've seen. And then the other league, the 2 leagues I'm following the most right now is the English Premier League and Italian Serie A. You also have La Liga. I do watch Barcelona and Real Madrid whenever I get a chance, but those are the 2 that I really follow the closest. And I was just talking with some of our friends back here for training. It looks to me it's a two-way race in the Italian Serie A. Juventus and AS Roma look like the clear-cut best teams. I don't think anybody else is even close to them. They both just keep getting the wins, both 3-0 right now. They also play on Wednesday, so it should be nice to see them. But when those 2 teams play this year, that is going to be really, really exciting. It's going to be really good football to watch there. For Roma, I really like watching them this weekend. The thing you have to worry about a little bit, I mean, they got off to a really close 2-0 start, scored at the 10-minute mark, at the 12-minute mark, and then they really just didn't do anything after that. For Juventus, they got a nice win against AC Milan, 1-0. They got the goal when they needed to. But when these 2 teams play, it's going to be really exciting. And that's pretty much going to determine the Serie A, because there really is no other team who I think can stand toe-to-toe with them. So that's there. And I want to give a little bit of credit to the beIN Sports Network now. I'd never turned to this channel before the summertime, but the more you look at it, I mean, for me, I was worried about how am I going to be able to watch all these teams, the Real Madrids, the AS Romas, the Juventuses, without all these packages, all these sports packages. But what BN HD does is they just take all the best games and they just put them on when they're on. I mean, I got to watch Juventus on Saturday. They had the Real Madrid game on as well. So they just take the best games and they just put them all together there. So I got to give a lot of credit to that network. And for Rob, for you, I know you're not as big in this stuff. Some of the guys on WICR are killing me for my love of soccer right now. But I don't know. What are you thinking of all this soccer thing? Have I gone nuts, or is it something that's definitely worthwhile talking about?
I don't think you've gone nuts. I think soccer is a sport that's on the rise right now in the United States, Joe, and it's a sport I would like to get into. I really haven't had the time to watch these games and stuff, and I want to get into it because after watching the World Cup, it's a very exciting sport, and I think it's a great thing that you picked up on because soccer is going to be the next big sport in the United States. You know, baseball's on decline right now. Not that many viewers in my eyes because the games are so long and stuff. And I think that soccer is going to be that sport that's on the rise because it's just so exciting. People don't score till late in the games, and you never know what's going to happen.
Absolutely, and I keep on homering in on that point, but I think that what you said right there, I mean, the baseball games, they're just too long. Soccer, my favorite part about it, it's just a 2-hour time investment, 2 hours, and you're out of there. I mean, when you give somebody a chance for 2 hours and 4 to 5 hours, and you never know if that's even going to be it, I'm going to take the 2 hours every day. But speaking of baseball, Rob, it's the best time of baseball. I mean, I watched a ton of baseball in the summertime, but when football kind of came around, started to put baseball in the back burner. But next Tuesday, the 30th, we have the play-in games that are going to start, and it's going to be a really exciting postseason because the theme of this part of the segment is there a clear-cut favorite to win the World Series? Now, we'll get into our predictions and our heavy analysis of the baseball playoffs next Monday. But as of now, Rob, I want to talk about this. Is there a team to you who is the clear-cut World Series favorite at the moment?
There is no favorite to me when it comes to baseball right now. I honestly think anybody could take it. We know how it is, Joe. Every year come playoff time, it's about who has the best pitching staff out there, hands down, because a lot of people aren't hitting that well come playoff time, and it's who's going to have the best pitching staff. And I think in my eyes, if I were to pick a team, it'd be the San Francisco Giants.
Wow. To win it all?
To win it all, yeah.
Wow, that's surprising. I mean, I really like their pitching. I mean, I'm not crazy about PV. I love Bumgarner. Do you think they have enough offense to win it? If they needed the hits,
you know, that's their weakest spot. But I think that they could. I think they could make it through just with their pitching staff. I think they will be able to make it through. But I think Buster Posey and Hunter Pence are really going to have to step it up big time.
Pence has had a great year. Yeah, they have a great bullpen too. The Giants.
Oh yeah, they do. They had so great. Their offense though has been running this year through Pence and Posey. They've been extraordinary this year, and I think the Giants. I'm not going to say they're World Series winners right now, but they're my team to go there all the way. I'm sorry.
Wow. I mean, that's for me. I can't even think of one team that I think is the clear cut. I mean, I love the Dodgers. I enjoy watching them so much, but I think Kershaw and Greinke, you know what you're always going to get out of them, but that third spot with Ryu being dinged up the last couple weeks of the season, I think that's a big concern for them because they really don't get a consistent production out of the third to fourth and fifth starter spots, and I think that could really hurt the Dodgers in the playoffs. For me, I think it might be a team in the AL. I like the Angels, but do the Angels have enough pitching to win it? I love the Orioles, but it's the same thing. Do the Orioles have enough starting pitching? At the end of the day, right now, I don't know. I just don't have a comfortable feeling about any of the teams. Do you think it could even be some of the play-in teams?
It could be, Joe. There's a lot of teams. When you look at the wild card spot, you have to look at them right now. I think the Kansas City Royals is a team that's going to make the playoffs this year, and they would be a huge surprise in the playoffs. A lot of people overlook them, and they're a pretty decent team. You have to look at some of these teams that are going to be making it into the wild card round because these teams are going to be big teams in the playoffs.
I agree. I mean, the Royals I like. the thing I mean, I think the Royals are one of those teams where they don't have a lot of the flashy superstar guys that the Tigers have. I mean, they have good, sound baseball players, and that's the thing. I mean, let's go to the Athletics. I mean, if things for the Athletics don't work out, I mean, right now it looks like they are going to get one of those spots, but that is a really tough game to have to play in Royals, Athletics. I think both those teams are very similar. I mean, not a ton of superstars on either side, but they play good, sound baseball. Offensively, they have good pitching. What do you think of both of these teams? If either one got in, which one's more dangerous?
I would say Kansas City right now. It's just because over the past month, Oakland has looked miserable. Yes, they have the highest chance of making the playoffs as a wild card team, but ever since getting rid of Cespedes, their best offensive hitter, that's just killed this team completely. Yes, they have a great pitching staff, but by taking out Cespedes out of the lineup, when you remove a cleanup hitter out of that lineup, you ruin everything. You ruin your go-to guy, the guy who produces when everybody's on base, the guy who knocks in the runs for you, and I just think they ruined the chemistry of this offense, Billy Beane.
I agree, and I mean, I think that's always my knock. I know we all love Billy Beane. Everybody loves Billy Beane, but that's my knock on him is at the end of the day, there's a reason why the Tigers and teams like that are consistently getting to the World Series. You need to have guys on your payroll who can get you the big hits when you need it. There's a reason why Miguel Cabrera gets that contract. There's a reason why Mike Trout gets that contract. You need to pay the big superstars their money, and you don't have one on Oakland. Cespedes was your guy. He was the guy you could count on to get you the big hits when you needed them. He's as close to a superstar as Oakland had, but Billy Beane didn't want to pay his guy, so then he just shipped him off, and you see how well that's worked out for Oakland now. But it's nice to kind of get it. That's the first baseball we've talked so far on the show.
Yeah, it's great to finally get back, be able to
I know you're excited to talk baseball. You did. Now, obviously, the next part is everything in regards to Derek Jeter. It's closing out. It's almost over. So you've been following baseball a little bit closer than I have with football coming into the forefront. What have you thought about the last couple weeks as the career has started to dwindle and close down?
You know, he was in that 0 for 28 slump, and he was kind of able to bounce back this past weekend. And, you know, it's going to be sad seeing him go on Thursday at his last home game because Jeter has been the highlight of our lives at shortstop. We haven't seen anybody else since we've grown up. He's been the go-to guy, just so respectable. And to see him go, it's going to be like the saddest thing I've ever seen happen with the Yankees. It's like losing like a Babe Ruth or Lou Gehrig or Mickey Mantle. It's so hard losing one of those guys when they had to leave the game of baseball. I mean, the Yankees, yes, this year we expected more. I expected them to make the playoffs. Didn't live up to the expectations. Some guys didn't live up to their contracts. But you know what? The captain's leaving in a respectable way with his team. I think that he's helped the Yankees in a way. Hasn't had that much of a productive year, but he's still been their true leader for them.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing for them is I never thought they were going to make the postseason this year, so it'll be nice to see them finish at least with a winning record. I mean, you'd never want to see him go out with a losing record the way that he's had his career. But the main point I wanted to make about this is it's kind of just in general. I mean, I talk to people all the time, and they're saying, like, how sad they are going to be when they don't get to watch their favorite players anymore, and especially with Derek Jeter with it coming out. I mean, like you said, Rob, I mean, we've only known number 2 at shortstop for as long as we've been watching baseball. That's been the most consistent number we've seen pretty much. And I think it's just a general, you got to appreciate every moment you've got to watch these guys. I say it all the time on the show how big a LeBron James fan I am. I try not to miss any LeBron James game. I mean, I get upset when I miss his games because I know one day I'm not going to be able to watch anymore when he's out of his prime or when he retires. So I just try to enjoy every moment I have watching these guys. And that's the way you've got to look at it. I mean, you've got so many great memories. You've had so many great memories of Derek Jeter. You certainly didn't waste the opportunities. You grew with him. You watched his ups and downs. You watched everything. So as long as you take advantage of it and you just remember you never waste the opportunities, I think that it's just great. And that's what I tell all people, especially our friend Armand with Vince Carter. When Vince Carter goes, I don't know what he's going to do, but you just got to enjoy the time you have and just savor every moment of it. And I could have used you this morning, Big Shout Out, because I got killed for saying this about LeBron James, how I try not to miss any game. They're killing me. I could have used you there.
Well, this year, regarding LeBron James, Joe, I will not be attacking him as I have in the past.
That's great.
Because you know what? He made the right decision finally and returned back to his home sweet home. My only reason for attacking LeBron was because he went to Miami and formed the best big 3-0 out there. And this year I had to have a lot more respect for him.
Well, I'll say this. I'm so hungry to start talking basketball. I really just want basketball season to be here because I have so much to say.
I can't not wait for the season to open up. I cannot wait for the NBA tip-off because this year, Joe, might be the best year of basketball we're going to see coming.
It really, I mean, could you think of how excited we were for the Heat Big 3 era to start? I mean, this Cavs team, it's everything that we've wanted. The reuniting of LeBron, a better Big 3 with Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving, a really good supporting cast. It's going to be a great year, and I feel bad for our fans because it's going to be like the Cleveland Cavalier radio network because 90% of our show is going to be dedicated to praising LeBron James, but I'm sure you'll help keep us on balance with other things too.
Yeah, so, with how miserable my Knicks might be this year.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be rough. I do like Derek Fisher, though.
Yeah, I do like him coming, but we really don't have that many pieces surrounding our roster.
Well, yeah, you know how I feel about Carmelo, so I'll leave it on that before I go into another one of my rants on Carmelo. But thank you for joining us. A really fun show. We will be back on Monday. I will have my weekly NFL picks during the week. I'll be back on the morning show. We'll get Rob in there somewhere, too. So thank you for tuning in, and everybody have a great day.